tomorrow, but it has been a weekend of definitely feeling the effects of having a cold. But this wasn't going to stop me from doing this Sunday stream because there's so much to talk about and there's so much for us to get our teeth into. And I keep finding more things as well. So as I've been digging into it, there's like other weird videos and clips and things that we can watch that I thought it would be worth bringing to the stream. So obviously the number one thing that we need to talk about is Chris Jericho. This is something which came out of nowhere, or seemed to come out of nowhere. It certainly wasn't anything I was aware of. This wasn't something that was like a big secret that everyone knew about. I've got the clip actually, and I thought what it might be worth doing is just kind of showing the clip from Nick Hulsman. Now, it's only a minute long. It's on social media. Kind of feels like it might be worth just playing a little bit of that. I don't know that we'll play all of it, but it might be worth just playing a little bit of it because this is where it started. This is where it came from. It came from Nick Hulsman on his Rumor and Innuendo podcast. It came from there, and well, let's check it out. I've got it queued up to go, so let's go over here. You can see it on this bit here. I might just keep it small. If we go bigger, then we might get hit with like copyright stuff. So we'll keep it small, but you're not missing anything. It's the audio that's more important. Let's hear what he said.
The Jericho part of it, for a lot of reasons, stood out to me. You know, one of the things that is so disconcerting to me about kind of the universal praise of Jericho, and I'm not going to deny the points that Max made about the impact Chris had in the early days of AEW. But when you have that kind of clout and you have that kind of power, it's very important to use that responsibly. And I just, there are issues with Chris behind the scenes where I know of a lot of people who have been hurt by Chris and his actions. And, it's very uncomfortable to me to see him lauded as often as he is with only the focus on that, because I do think that there's a lot of questionable stories about Chris that will find their way out over time, and when people are ready to tell those stories, that will cast him in a very different light. I mean, look, Harvey Weinstein won a lot of Oscars. Harvey Weinstein produced a lot of very popular films. Harvey Weinstein is now in jail. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Chris, but your narrative can very quickly turn if you're hiding a lot of skeletons in your closet.
I mean, it's pretty damning stuff, isn't it? I mean, inadvertently being compared to Harvey Weinstein is pretty damning stuff. I mean, to be honest, it's hard to know what to make of this because we don't know what these skeletons are. The only thing that we can go by is the Kylie Ray situation. So what happened then was there was a tweet that was found from a few years ago where someone said, I wonder how many women are, I wrote it down actually, I wonder how many young women are wondering if it's safe now to post about Chris Jericho yet. And this was from a few years ago. It's one of those kind of messages that kind of gets put out there. No one really picks up on it. And so that was put out there. But what made this newsworthy was the fact that Kylie Ray actually left a like on that tweet. And there was other tweets that had come out saying the reason Kylie Ray had gone, this was from a John A. Ferris. I still don't know who this guy is. I looked at his account and it's full of like Impact news, but this John A. Ferris, I don't believe him to be a reporter, but somehow he's got some inside information or alleged inside information. He's come on and said basically that Tony knew that this had happened between Chris Jericho and Kylie Ray, and that he was worried about losing the TV deal because, of course, this would have happened back in 2019 when Dynamite was just starting. So apparently he was worried about the TV deal falling through at that early stage, and so knowingly kept it quiet. Now, my feelings on this are the exact same feelings I had when it came to the Greg the Hammer Valentine situation the other day. It's the same feelings I had on the Vince situation. It'll be the same feelings I have on pretty much any situation going forwards. I'm a big believer in hearing both sides of the story. And actually on this, I don't even know what side of the story we've heard yet. We haven't even heard one side of the story. We've heard an allegation, but the alleged victim hasn't really come out and said anything other than left a heart emoji. And we haven't heard anything from Chris Jericho. So for me, I don't feel like comfortable in going in on Chris and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I heard that he was booed at World's End, which is kind of surprising from AEW fans, to be honest. I mean, AEW fans, you think, would probably stand by their guy a little bit and be a little bit like, we haven't heard anything yet. There's rumors. There's, things being said, but we haven't seen anything concrete. No one's come out and said this actually happened. The AEW fans seem to turn on Chris quite quickly, I thought. So boos for Chris, signs in the crowd saying Jerry go away rather than Jericho. Also World's NDA rather than World's End, right? And Kylie Ray chants, boos for Jericho. People saying that other wrestlers were swearing at Jericho, sticking their fingers up at Jericho. Don't know if that was not within the context of the match, to be honest. So this isn't a defense of Jericho, just like the other day it wasn't necessarily a defense of Greg the Hallam Valentine or whoever, but I'm just a firm believer in hearing both sides of the story. I'm just a firm believer in getting all the facts. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the police do an investigation, they don't go to the victim and then that's it. Like, well, job done. So on this, I kind of feel the same. If we were to put our level-headed hats on, I think we would agree that this should be investigated. There's clearly something going on here. Even if it's not a case that Jericho has actually done it, someone is saying stuff about Jericho and spreading lies about Jericho, or he's done it and he has actually sexually assaulted young women, which hopefully he feels the full force of the law if that's the case. So for me, this is a real interesting one. It's one that I want to see investigated. It's one that I'm seeing a lot of opinion on, and I think it's very difficult to have opinion on it when we just don't have any information. We just have really what we've been seeing on social media, and I thought as a result, I could understand the crowd being a bit uncomfortable. I could understand the crowd not quite knowing how to react to Jericho. But I thought it's really interesting that they picked a side, man. Kaylee Ray, they've decided he is guilty, and they went in on him. So it's going to be very difficult for Chris going forwards. I don't know what he's going to say or how he's going to address this. I don't think this blows over. I don't know how. I mean, he's a massive name. These are big allegations. The way that Nick Holzman was talking there is apparently there are skeletons. So I don't know that there's just one skeleton in the closet. There are skeletons. So, yeah, for me, everyone's going to have a different opinion on this, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. And clearly people are sharing their opinions on social media. I've actually seen both sides of the coin on this. I've seen a lot of people coming out going hard on Jericho, calling him a sex pest, saying that he needs to be kicked out of AEW now. I can't believe, he would do such a thing. And then I've seen another side of the coin where people are going in on Nick Hausman, saying, how dare you spread these unfounded allegations? How dare you come out and publicly try to ruin a man's career when there's no evidence? I mean, we haven't even got a victim that's coming out saying anything other than a heart emoji. So, yeah, this is definitely something that we need investigating. And obviously, Tony was spoken to about this, Tony Khan. I felt a bit sorry for him, to be honest. I think in every regard, because Tony Storm came out and put her hat on his head, put her glasses on his face as well. And he was sat there looking like a right Muppet, quite literally a Muppet, actually. And he was just sat there, and then of course someone asks the question. So maybe it would have been better if he'd have just took that moment to have took the hat off, took the glasses off, and gone, okay, let's address this situation. Instead, he just sort of was quite dismissive and said, you know, I will put our record up against anyone else. I think we've got the strongest procedures and safety for our workers compared to any company that's out there, certainly in the wrestling sphere. I will put it up against anyone else. And they were asking, like, had Chris been investigated? And he was like, I just can't be going into that because it's come from unsourced, you know, sources, basically. I mean, it's what he was saying was that there's nothing there for me to really investigate. There's nothing there for me to comment on. Like, a few things doing the rounds on social media is not enough for me to come out here and, you know, start spilling my, you know, or spilling my guts, spilling everything that's going on. So I felt a bit bad for him because I think he didn't want to make it a bigger deal than it was. So he didn't want to really come out and say too much. But I think it would have been the right thing to have said. You know, he could have said something like, I can't comment at this stage about the past because we are actually going to open an investigation into this subject. So there will be a full investigation into this subject, which is why I hope you understand I can't talk about anything that's connected with it at this time. I think that would have satisfied people, because I think people then would have felt like, okay, I understand why he can't answer, because he's doing something about it. And also, he's doing something about it. But that wasn't really the answer that we got. It was just very dismissive. And I think people felt a bit let down by it. So, yeah, it's the biggest story this weekend. And once again, do you know, I do wonder as well, is there someone out there that is trying to sabotage, actively trying to sabotage AEW? Because how do these things keep happening around their pay-per-view shows? How did Nick Hausman, or why did Nick Hausman come out with that now around this show? Well, I think the reason, and we heard the clip, was because MJF put out his statement. So if MJF had not put out his statement praising Jericho and praising a few other people, then maybe Nick Hausman wouldn't have felt so uncomfortable about that, and then he wouldn't have said what he said. But this is just another example of an AEW pay-per-view show being overshadowed by a controversy in a long line of this happening, to the point where you do start asking, is someone actively trying to sabotage AEW when it comes to their biggest shows? I mean, it's just never one person, though, is it? It's always different people that are involved, either MJF, Jericho, Nick Hausman, or Jungle Boy and CM Punk, or Hangman and Bucks and Punk with Omega. Like, there's always different people seemingly involved. We can't blame CM Punk for this one. But it's crazy that once again this has overshadowed the show. And dare I say, even derailed the show. Because one of the other things I was going to talk about was the rating for this show. And the reason why I was going to talk about it is because we heard from Tony Khan. He apparently said the other day that he looks at Cage Match as a guide as to whether things are going well for AEW or not. Now, I don't know where this was said. I don't know if it was on like a pre-World's End media call, But people were telling me this was a comment he had made, that cage match indicates that they're on the right path. So I thought it would be interesting to look at cage match and see how World's End had been received. And I promise you, we would have looked at this even if this was a good number, because I think it's really interesting to look at the match breakdowns as well. But the first thing I want to point out is just this bit here. So World's End, apparently the biggest show since Wembley. I think he said it was like tracking level with Full Gear. It's been a big show. It's been well received. It was sold out. So we're not talking about a small show. We're talking about a show that had 10,000 people in the crowd. Over 100,000 buys, I believe he said, on the press conference. So we're talking about a decent sized show here, right? And it's got its score, 5.49 out of 10. And we can look at the breakdown of that. But the one thing that I think people need to bear in mind, this is the Cage Match website. 201 valid votes. 201. That's how we've managed to get to this 5.49. It's made up of 201 votes. Now, I'm not being funny, but if we do a poll right now, I'd feel confident that if I left it till the end of the stream, we would beat 201. I'm confident we would get more than 201 votes in a poll that we were to do now, right? The idea that Tony is using this as a barometer for success, as some sort of indicator as to where the business is I mean, it's crazy to me. If this was bigger, if this was something that wrestling fans were actively using and he was getting some real numbers and real feedback, then I would say, okay, I can understand that a little more, right? But 201 people have voted, and it's come out at a 5.49. So even if he does want to use this, surely the message is this was a mid show. This was a show that was, not, I would argue, not even average. I think their average is above 5.49. So, I don't think this is going to make pleasant reading for Tony if he wants to come and have a look at Cage Match, which I'm sure he is going to. But the reason why I wanted to look at this, and the reason why it was definitely the score, but also to look at how many people were voting there now, right? But the reason why was because we said the Jericho thing, I think, has not only overshadowed this show, I think it derailed this show. And the reason why I say that, because you can see that on the pre-show, we've got some all right numbers. The 8-man tag did 7.41. Miro Andrade did 5.31. Tony Storm Rio 5.19. Then we've got this. I believe this match was quite early on in proceedings. This one, I don't know if this is in the correct order, but my understanding is that this was relatively early. It wasn't one of the main events or one of the final matches. In fact, it might even be in an order. Perhaps it was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one on, which would make it actually about middle of the cards. And you can see that it starts off quite hot, starts to trail down, but look at this here. I mean, these two matches, I talk about it a lot, but Julia Hart shouldn't be on Dynamite, let alone a champion, right? Abaddon, I mean, we haven't seen her for I don't know how long. I don't know what they were expecting to get out of this, why they allowed it to go 11:57, but many congratulations. You've managed to get 3.31 out of 10, right? I mean, not even worthy of being on Rampage. And next to it is this match here, which, other than this debacle, this match here was the lowest rated match. Well, this was the lowest rated, but other than that, this was the lowest rated. And it's, I think, undeniable that the Jericho situation really derailed the action in this, I've heard a few reviews of people saying that they just never seemed to get going, and that the boos were really throwing people off, and the chants, and you could tell that people just weren't able to get into a rhythm. So, you know, to go from that Jericho match into that women's TBS match, you know, you're at such a low ebb at this point. You really are struggling. And now, like, you've got to try and pick it up as you work your way towards the main event. And this is what a lot of people have said. They've said the early matches were so-so. Middle of the card, it collapses. And then, actually, the final 3 matches do pick it up. But those final 3 matches are just not enough to kind of save the show. And so this is why you're seeing scores of this kind of 5.49. Which, again, take with a pinch of salt. That's only 200 people that have voted. But I can show you posts online where, like, No DQ asked, what did you think of World's End? And the responses are just 3, 4, 5, worst AEW pay-per-view I've ever seen. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So I kind of feel like there's a little bit in there with, obviously, injuries. We know it was meant to be Swerve Keith Lee. I'm sure that would have been better than Swerve against Dustin Rhodes. We know that it was going to be the Golden Jets, but that might not have been any better because it still would have been Jericho. And this is the Jericho conversation that we're having right now. So I think that match still would have got derailed. If anything, it was probably a bit better for him. He was in there with more people so that he didn't have to do quite as much and maybe could have just stayed out the way a little bit. So yeah, it's hard to know where this is going to go, but I think the headlines for me are, it's a bad situation. You don't need me to tell you this. It's a bad situation. It definitely needs investigating. And I think he probably should just be off TV until that investigation is complete. Because my feelings on it is that I look at him and all of a sudden now you do go, what have you got involved with? What have you done? Like, you do look at him and wonder that, right? But I couldn't bring myself to be a fan that was chanting Kylie Ray or booing him because I haven't heard his side of it. And I don't know if these allegations are true or if they're not. I wasn't there. I have absolutely no idea. So I just think it's kind of interesting that the AEW fans, you could understand WWE fans that don't like him anymore because he, you know, is with the enemy. You could understand them, you know, kind of going after him. But AEW fans, who he has been entertaining for years and years and years, you would have thought there would have been a little bit more, I don't know, let's wait and see what he says, or let's see if there's an investigation, or, you know, rather than booing him, chanting Kylie Ray's name, chanting NDAs and all this kind of stuff. I just thought that was quite surprising. The other thing that I heard as well, because I didn't actually watch the show, but the other thing I heard was the crowd sang Judas. Apparently they sang Judas, and then once Judas was over, then they started booing. So, that doesn't make any sense either. You do know that's his song. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, come on, we like the song. We ain't gonna do it. We ain't gonna trash the song. We ain't gonna trash the song. I mean, he might be a sex pest, but we're still singing Judas. But you wait. Once we've finished, we're gonna boo this guy out the building. So yeah, it's a wild situation. Definitely needs to be investigated. Nothingness Void said, we like Chris Jericho because we're not flip-flop fans who turn on people because they turn old. Plus his theme is sick AF. Well, I mean, there are flip-flop fans because there was a lot of booing. There was a lot of people that turned on him. There is a lot of noise on social media, but the thing is, with social media, you never quite know, are these people, you never know people's, this is what I think you can easily fall, not you, but like anyone, can easily fall into the trap of. That is, when you see someone's profile name and you see them going in hard on Jericho, right? Going, he's a disgrace, blah, 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 right? You don't know the reason why the person has put that. That could be the biggest WWE. First of all, they could be 12 years old, right? Just want to get involved. They could have some sort of mental challenge, right? It could be someone that jumps the gun a little bit quick as well, right? Doesn't really think things through. Just like, no, I've read it. It's on the internet, because everything on the internet's true. We know this. And so they might be someone that jumps the gun a little bit. But equally, they could also be someone that's like a diehard WWE fan, because this has been turned into like WWE against AEW. And so they could be a diehard WWE fan that are going to use this now as a way of just, making sure that they cause as much drama as possible, make this as noisy as possible, because who knows, maybe if we make enough noise, we could get TNT to feel very uncomfortable. Maybe they then won't want to renew Dynamite. Because what's this sexual allegation thing that's all over the internet? We don't want to be associated with that. Well, if we're, hardcore WWE fans, we could really drum that up, and we could bang that drum, and we could make it noisy, and we can make it uncomfortable, and we can make it difficult for advertisers and sponsors to want to work with AEW at this time. And we can make it even, uncomfortable for Warner Brothers Discovery if they're in a position where they're like, do we go with Raw or do we go with sticking with AEW? And then all of a sudden, here's a whole sexual allegation thing happening against one of the biggest stars in the company. And honestly, who knows? I mean, who knows how many women may come forward? We don't know. As we said, very little has been revealed at this stage. But this is my point, like the motives as to why people are putting that stuff on social media, we don't know, because we don't know the people behind the names. The other thing to bear in mind as well, when Thingy took over, what's his name, Elon, he tried to pull out of the Twitter deal because of buying it, because he said after doing research, 20% of all accounts were bots. 20% of all accounts were not real people. They were bots. So that would mean 1 in 5. That means 1 in 5 across the whole platform are bots. That means that there are undoubtedly, undeniably, hundreds, maybe thousands of bots within the wrestling community as well. So, and also we know there's people that have got multiple accounts. So if you're someone that really hates Jericho or really hates AEW, you can put some on your account, and then you might have 5 or 6 others that you can do the exact same with as well. So all of a sudden it looks like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people are saying similar things. Well, there's a reason for that. It's all the same person. So I think it's very dangerous to go off social media. I think it's very dangerous, and in all fairness, I've seen both sides. So it's not just one side, people going in on Jericho. I could call it up now and show you people going in on Nick Houseman, right? I fall in the middle. Which I think is probably the safest place to be, and I think the right place to be, which is, let's do an investigation. I'm team let's do an investigation. I'm team let's find out what's happened. I'm team let's call the police and get this sorted. That's what team I am. Not team let's go hard after Jericho, boo him out the building, like AEW fans were doing. The actual people that bought tickets to their show. Not bots. Not multiple accounts. Like, clearly AEW fans. Unless now it's WWE fans that are buying tickets to their shows, which is pretty wild if that's what's happening. But I don't know, man. AEW fan, that surprised me. It surprised me. It got me wondering if wrestling fans in general, do they like just to rock the boat? Is it a case that they feel a bit uncomfortable? They don't know, they're sat there, they're looking around, they don't quite know what they're meant to do. Am I meant to boo him? Am I meant to cheer him? I don't feel comfortable about cheering him anymore. Like, if I was there, I'd probably just stay quiet, to be honest. I probably wouldn't give him any reaction. I wouldn't be cheering him, but then I wouldn't be cheering him anyway. It's been a while since I felt like, anything towards Chris Jericho, but he's a legend. I had respect for him. I don't know where I sit right now. Don't forget team investigation, right? Waving the flag for that. So I think I would sit there quietly, to be honest. But I think that wrestling fans like to be involved. They don't like to stay quiet if they can help it. We know how much they love singing Seth's song. They still sang Judas, right? So they love singing Judas. They sang Seth's song. And I think it was a case of, well, do you know what? If I've got to pick a side, I'm going to go this side. I'm going to go with Kylie Rae, and I'm gonna show support for her. And I don't know, I'd have to watch it myself to see if there was people that were standing up for Chris at all. See if there was people that were maybe booing the Kylie Rae chants, or I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's one that I would imagine even Jericho sat there right now going, I really don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to find a way out of this, because it's a strange one. It's a difficult one. To be honest, I just think there needs to be an investigation. Needs to be an investigation. He needs to give his side of the story on that. Kylie Rae, unfortunately, is going to need to talk, because if she doesn't talk, we're never going to get this resolved, really. But I think she is quite sensitive. I think she kind of doesn't want to get involved in this, and I don't know. I don't know that this is going to get a resolution, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know that she's going to want to speak about whatever happened, you know. It's a tricky one. It's a real tricky one. It's a real tricky one. George said, do you think the Devil character will stay good now that we know who it is? So, talking about the Devil character, I thought it was a pretty good reveal. I wasn't down on the reveal at all. I think that it was never going to satisfy everyone, whoever it was. If you got anyone, it was always going to have people going, no, don't like that because of this, this, and this. I suppose my takeaway from it is, well, it cleans up a few of the issues I had with AEW. You know, the big thing I didn't like is I didn't like the Cole MJF relationship from the start. I didn't like it. It's been too cringy for me. I don't mind that if it's R-Truth and Goldust, right? The Golden Truth. I don't mind if we're doing that, or if it's Breezango, or if it's Billy Kay messing around with the Riot Squads, right? I can cope with all of that. But or Pretty Deadly, right? Fine, there's a place for it. But when it's the very top of the card, and it's around the AEW Championship, and it involves who I believe to be one of the, if not the best heels working right now in MJF, right? I think if you've got if you're going to do that sort of silliness, kangaroo kick, double clothesline, just I know there was people that were into it, but I mean, you know, there's people that are into pretty much anything. Like, has it resulted in growth for the company, right? Can we look at 2023 and say, other than Wembley, that this has been a great year? I don't think we can. And who's been champ throughout that whole year? MJF. MJF has. So we can't look at this year and say it's been a brilliant year. If anything, it's been a year of real turmoil. And I just think that relationship with Adam Cole, that storyline, I don't think it helped at all. And I think people have got different issues with it. Even if you was to like that relationship, you may not have liked the fact they won the Ring of Honor tag belts together. You might have thought that was a bit silly. You might have thought that the whole Devil thing was silly. You might have thought that Adam Cole being revealed as the Devil was silly because he's injured and he can't do anything. He can't have a match or anything at the moment. So when are we actually going to get Adam Cole MJF? And we don't even know what's happening with MJF as well. So, you know, there's different things that you can point at and go, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. I didn't like the relationship between them. I'm glad that that's come to an end. I didn't like the silliness around the title. Now that Samoa Joe is champion, that's surely gone. Surely gone. Samoa Joe, I think, will be a great champion. The kind of champion I think you can be proud of, right? And you can be proud of MJF. Just not when he's faffing around with Adam Cole. If MJF is being MJF, cutting killer promos, being the scumbag, right? Being the heel, the amazing heel that got him to the title, then you could be proud of him. But the MJF that was babyface and faffing around, doing kangaroo kicks and going to trampoline parks and all this kind of stuff, that weren't doing it for me at all. And all of that has gone now, because Samoa Joe is going to be a great, credible champion. MJF's going away for a while, and when he comes back, he's been betrayed by his only friend. So I can't imagine he's going to be in goofy spirits. You've now got Adam Cole, who's going to be a lot more serious with the Kingdom, which I think is going to be good for them. I hope we don't have any more of that Adam stuff from Roderick Strong, right? Stupid. All of that, stupid. There's a place for it if your name's R-Truth and you want to do it lower down the card, but around the main event scene, no, not for me. Not for me. And I think it really has hurt AEW. And that was one of my big criticisms of where they've been in recent times. And all of that has gone. It's all gone. The only thing that's not changed, which I would like to change, but I can live with it, is that I think when MJF comes back, he'll still be a face. But if he's going to be a bit more of a credible, more serious face, I can cope with that. I can deal with that. So yeah, my relationship with AEW is that I didn't watch the show. I was watching Tommy Toy Travel stream though. I mean, I was not well, so I was having I had it on as I was dozing, and then at some point, so I was like, look, I need to get some work done. So I went down and I started doing bits and bobs. I was just trying to do what I could really, but I was pretty much running on low. I mean, there was not much gas in the tank yesterday. Certainly feeling a lot better today, but it's still there. So I'm still not 100%. But I'm feeling like another good night's sleep. And, tomorrow, I'm going to be there or thereabouts. I mean, it's not a struggle to get through this stream, for example. It's all right. It's so much better than Friday. Friday was where it was coming on. Yesterday was the worst, and now it's starting to go. So I think it's a 24, 48 hour thing that I've had, and I think by the time this weekend's done, I'll be back to normal. So Raw stream tomorrow, day one, super excited, and we will do the quick predictions of it in a second. But yeah, I don't mind the reveal of the Devil. I think that MJF is going to go away. He's going to have surgeries and everything, so we can't do the match with Adam Cole now anyway. So Adam Cole not being able to compete isn't really a problem, because the only people that are going to have issues with him are the people that the Devil has attacked. And to be honest, he's got henchmen. I mean, he's got Wardlow, which is quite interesting. So, I think the Kingdom and Roderick Strong and Wardlow, they can do his bidding for him whilst he's on the road to recovery. And MJF's out the picture anyway. And I don't think MJF is going to be going to WWE. I think that he is sticking around. The belief is that he signed a contract extension a while ago anyway. So obviously that could be wrong. Who knows? He might rock up at the Rumble or something like this. But everyone keeps saying he's got some pretty bad injuries that really need to be sorted. So I'm going to take that as, what I'm being told. So I don't even know if he'd make it for a Rumble. But I'm thinking that word from WWE is that they don't believe that he is available. They think he re-signed. There haven't been talks. This is the latest. This was a few weeks back, right? I haven't heard anything since then. So my understanding is that he likely has re-signed with AEW. He's going to go away and get surgery, and then he'll end up coming back. Who knows? Maybe Revolution, something like that, February time. But it's over to Samoa Joe now, and to be honest, he's not picked up a great baton. You know, he's not picked up a great baton at all. This company is struggling, and the Devil story is done now, and that's been one of the biggest things. All right, it might have gone on a bit long, but that's one of the biggest things that I think was driving interest in that brand, and that's gone. And MJF is potentially gone, and Jericho has got these allegations against him, and that's going to make things very difficult, and that's going to overshadow things for the short term. So how now are they going to get some momentum? There is a belief that Mercedes could be on her way into AEW. We don't think she's coming to WWE. We think that she's coming into AEW. And I think it was Fightful that said that looks like it'll be sooner rather than later. So it looks like Mercedes to AEW is on. So that could be big. That could be really interesting if she goes to AEW, because she will be an injection of momentum, and really an injection of momentum that I think they really do need, because I was listening to Tony talking about how Dynamite had increased and Collision had increased, but the truth is that they are still around that 850 mark. It's only increased because a few weeks back it decreased, and now it's gone back up to kind of where it has been. We haven't increased to anywhere. We haven't got to any heights that we've not seen before. You know, we're not wow, breaking new records or anything. We're still around that 850 mark for Dynamite. So he is obviously putting a positive spin on everything. You wouldn't expect anything else, and it's what he should do. But the truth of the matter is that they have been flat for a long time, and so there's not really much momentum there. There's not much that they can hang their hats on and go, we're going in the right direction. I mean, really, if he's going to say, I think we're going in the right direction because of the cage match scores, we've already looked at that on this stream to show how ridiculous of a statement that actually is. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about with AEW. But in regards to the Devil reveal, I thought it was fine. I wasn't down on it. I didn't think it was stupid or a disgrace or a waste of time or anything like that. I don't really get why Adam Cole did it, to be honest. I'd like to hear of his motivation, because surely you would do that to get a title opportunity, wouldn't you? I mean, he had a title opportunity. He was facing MJF for the title, and he didn't win it. And then we started getting the Devil stuff. So surely you do that to get another title opportunity. But Samoa Joe just won the title, and MJF is injured now, and so he's going away. So, okay, you got rid of MJF for a little bit, but you still haven't got the belt. You're going to have to get it off Samoa Joe now. So, I don't really get what he's achieved by doing the Devil thing. As long as they've got an explanation for that. If he's going to say, like, I hated you after you beat me, I just wanted to find a way of bringing you down. Destroying you, Max, became more important to me than the title. If it's going to be something like that, I'll be like, okay, yeah, fair play. Fair play. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Tommy's stream, genuinely. I thought he was doing a fantastic... I love his sound effects. And it was brilliant to see, like, and hear, like, people getting shouted out that are, you know, we see in the community over there. And, yeah, it was good. So, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I will admit there was times where I did have a nap because I was pretty much running on empty. But I still had him on. And so if I was waking up, I was sort of trying to catch up with what had happened by listening to what was being said on that watch-along. And I thought it was brilliant. I thought he did a great job. And I definitely think that it's a more enjoyable experience this way to watch Dynamite, to be honest. I feel, do you know, it's funny, I feel more engaged with it now that I'm not watching it. It's weird. I think it's because I don't have to watch the rubbish, the stuff that wasn't doing it for me. The stuff that just, I would sit there and I'd be like, I just don't need this. I don't have to engage with that now. I don't have to focus on that now. I don't have to roll my eyes when, you know, things are happening that are just like, oh God, another attack after a match. Or what was that promo? Or whatever it is, right, that gives you those reactions. I don't have to do that. Now I can just talk about and focus on the things that I think are interesting. Like the Devil thing and the Jericho thing, you know, and Samoa Joe being champion. I think these are interesting points. I don't have to talk about like the other stuff that happened. I don't have to talk about, say, Swerve, Dustin Rhodes. I don't have to talk about Julia Hart against Abaddon. I don't have to talk about these other bits and bobs, you know. I heard Willow and Chris Statlander was a bit botchy as well. Which is a shame because I like both of those. But, you know, that's what I heard. I heard that it was a botch fest in places. So, yeah. That's my thoughts on AEW. I did see that we got a super chat from Defcon Prime. Shout out to you, buds. Says, do you remember about 4 or 5 years ago, we used to do a pork chop cash joke? Someone's made him for 2K23 to download. Happy New Year. Defcon, shout out to you. I do remember that. That came from, there was 2 people in the crowd that were dressed as the Blues Brothers. And they had a sign saying pork chop cash for the Hall of Fame. And I will admit I had never heard of pork chop cash. And I remember we looked into it and he was a wrestler and it was like, who's this guy? Pork chop cash? What kind of a name is that? And so we spent the whole stream kind of going crazy over pork chop cash. That was many years ago, actually. I want to say probably 2018, 19. It was clearly when we had a crowd, and I don't think it was after the pandemic, so it would have been before. So yeah, it would have been many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, which is crazy to think, isn't it? But yeah, that's where it came from. But because he is an actual wrestler who actually wrestled, there are people out there that do know of him, and so I could believe that someone has made him and put him inside the game. But that's cool. Defcon Prime, shout out to you, dude. Hope you have a good New Year's. And New Year's means nothing to me. And to emphasize how little it means to me, it is 13 minutes to midnight right now. And until you just mentioned it, I wouldn't have even noticed that I don't give a flip. I don't care. It means nothing. I've got nothing on the TV. I've got no drink or sparklers or anything like that. It's just not. It just doesn't. Getting better is my focus. Getting better and having a chat with you guys for a bit. So I think what we'll do is we'll talk for another half an hour or so because I still want to do the predictions for day 1. And I do want to jump into the chat because I know we really got stuck into like the Jericho stuff and AEW World's End and the Devil. But I think it's all good stuff, you know. I think it's good to have these kind of conversations. But I think what we'll do is we'll talk for about half an hour. And then what we did last week was we looked at the 25 best Instagram pictures. And I thought that was really fun. And actually, I used to do this on the Wrestling Escape Pods, but I don't know why we didn't continue it, to be honest. I think the reason why was because we started to actually film it as a separate thing, and then the plan was to upload it as like a separate video. So I've actually got all these recordings, weeks and weeks of recordings of me and Tommy reacting to like these Instagram things, and there's some really fun moments in these recordings, but I've just never gone back to them and edited them and all this kind of stuff, so I think it just naturally stopped. But we looked at it on the Sunday stream last week and I thought it was really good. Well, they've come out with a new one today and it's 50, right, of the best of the year. So I'm thinking that we can just blast through them. Like, we don't need to stop on every single one. If there's not much going on, because a lot of them are just going to be like the females kind of posing, pouting, whatever. We could probably just go through those quite quickly. But I'm sure there will be some in there that are quite interesting. And I thought we could maybe do that, and maybe this could be a bit of a new home for those. We do them each week at the end of the Sunday stream. So I was going to do that. So I think what we'll do is we'll do about half an hour of going into the chat, chatting away with you guys, doing our predictions for Raw Day 1, which is tomorrow. And then we will have a look at those Instagram pictures. Mr. Toxic Black said, do you think Big E will be back at the Rumble? It's a really good question. If I had to bet, I would say... honestly, and I hate sitting on the fence, I would say 50-50, and I hate it. I don't sit on the fence. I always give an honest answer, but sometimes an honest answer is 50-50. Sometimes in football matches there are a draw. The reason why I say 50-50 is because he's been told to not compete and that he needs to look after himself. And he said if he was a young man, he probably would be pushing to come back. But now that he's older, he values life maybe more than he did. I think when you're young, you are a bit more reckless. And when you get older and your time is starting to run out anyway, you start to really value the time you've got left. So I think that he's at that stage where he really values his time. And also I think he really values the fact that he got away with it, in the sense of he's not in a wheelchair. He doesn't need round the clock care. You know, he can walk. He's still got his mobility. He's made money. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, I suppose it'd be like going to the casino, winning big, and then right before you're about to leave, you lose a chunk of it, right? You don't lose all of it, but you lose a good chunk of it. Well, what do? Do you leave the casino at that point, happy with what you've got? Or do you go back to the table? And I suppose in a way, this is sort of the situation he's in, because he had a great career. He's been on the main roster. He's been in the New Day. He's been on TV for a long time. I'm sure he made a lot of money. I'm sure that he's saved a fair bit of money as well. I would like to think. I would hope. I think that's something they teach them in NXT. Is, you know, this career is only for so long, so save your money. So I would hope that he's done that. And, you know, I think he's got to the point where he's had this injury, and it really could have resulted in him being in a wheelchair. It could have ended his life. Could have broke his neck, and that would have been it. So much could have gone wrong. That I think he is in a place where it's like, maybe it's time for me to leave the casino. And doctors are saying leave the casino as well. Like, they're saying don't wrestle anymore. So in that regard, I'd be leaning towards no. I don't see him coming back. The only reason why I say 50-50 is because I think in his heart of hearts he wants to come back. I think it's hard for wrestlers to give up. And I think that he's still around wrestling. And I think that I think it's something that he would like to say goodbye to the fans. And he hasn't done that yet, which it's been a while. It's, you know, in March, it will have been 2 years. And he's not said goodbye to the fans. So I don't know about you, but I feel like I could do with that closure. I could do with him coming out and saying this is it. Or if it's not it, then come back, right? The fact that we've not had that, the fact that door is not closed, says to me that he's still trying to return. I'm sure they would have given him a microphone. I'm sure they would have. If he had have turned around and said, look, this is the end of the road for me, would you mind if I just get a chance to say goodbye to the fans? I can't see that being turned down. He's a big star. He was in the New Day as a former WWE champion, but he's not done that. So that says to me that he must still want to return. If he really was done, grab the microphone and say goodbye. Have that moment. But he hasn't done that. And the other thing as well is that the Royal Rumble, there's not much of a bump to take, right? You've just got to go over the top rope, and even that can be done gently, right? Even that can be you standing on the edge of the ring. Someone knocks into you and you just basically jump from the edge of the ring to the floor. It's not like that when it comes to eliminating him, we've got to scoop him up and hurl him over the top rope. Like, it could easily be that he gets dragged through the ropes, he stood on the edge, someone drop kicks him, and he just falls down and he gets eliminated. And there's no risk to the, well, I mean, there's always a risk, but, you know, there's not really much of a risk. And once you're in a Rumble, most people just kind of stay on the outside, you know? So I kind of feel like, is there a chance that he comes back for maybe one more appearance in the Rumble to say goodbye to the people? You know, there could even be a moment where he's literally in the ring on his own, or the other people are down in the corners and he's stood there looking around and the crowd are going like crazy, giving him like a lot of love. Like, it'd be a beautiful moment. It'd be a great moment. And I don't think there'd be a great risk. He doesn't have to be in there all that long. You know, he can be in there for all of 5 minutes. And as we said, the way you can eliminate him can be relatively simple. He can get dragged through the ropes and then find his way. Just basically, can he jump off the edge of the ring to the ground? I mean, that's all he needs to do. I don't know where his health is. I don't even know if that is possible. I would think it is, but I am not him. So for me, it's one of those where I'm 50-50 on it. I suppose if I had a gun to my head, I'd say no. If I had to choose and someone had a gun, I'd say no, he won't be at the Rumble. But I think there is a chance. But that's the best I can say, because there's not really any other information out there other than what we've just said. Hasib, shout out to you, said thoughts on Andrade leaving to return to WWE as early as tomorrow, being the former champion Triple H is referring to. Well, I don't believe he is the former champion being referred to, because didn't Triple H say former WWE champion? And obviously Andrade never was. So I mean, I've took that as former WWE champion, as in the WWE championship. Maybe they mean just champion in WWE, but I didn't take it that way. So I don't know. I think there is a chance he comes back. I think like Charlotte works at WWE. I think that Andrade had a good time in NXT with Triple H. I think that Andrade, there's a lot going on with that kind of LWO, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Legado del Fantasma, Angel and Humberto. There's a lot going on with that. Carlito being in the mix as well. Like, you could easily drop an Andrade in there and things would get even spicier, you know? I don't know how that's shaking out, to be honest. I can't quite tell where that's going. It feels like Del Toro and Wilder with Dragon Lee. And obviously we know that Angel Garza and Humberto are with Santos. But where does that leave Zelina and Rey Mysterio? Or Carlito? And where do you put Andrade? So I don't know. That's a very interesting situation. I do expect Andrade to come back to WWE. I don't think he's been happy in AEW at all. And just because he might have been getting used now, I think he's like, nah, forget this. I think, you know, I think that he's just got through. And I do expect him to return. But I don't think he's the champion. Just because I'm sure it was worded former WWE champion. So I don't think he's the champion that they were referring to, but I do expect him to go back to WWE now. Although there was no word of that from Tony. But then Tony didn't really give us much word about anything, to be honest. He couldn't really comment on anything, which, as I said, is sort of understandable. Some of them questions as well were absolutely atrocious. The wrestling journalists should be ashamed, right? Absolutely ashamed. And we've said this so many times. I honestly, it makes me embarrassed. I feel embarrassed when I watch the press conferences. There was one bit where someone was asking quite hard-hitting questions about Jericho, doing a fantastic job of going, like, the Jericho situation. It's all over the internet. I know you spoke earlier about blah, 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 but I'm sure you appreciate I've got to press you for this. And you felt like that was an actual journalist. Someone that was actually trying to get to the nub of it, right? It was really like, I know you've already spoke about it, but I'm sure you appreciate it's the biggest story right now. It's all over social media. Brilliant. That's what you want, right? Anyone that tuned into that press conference surely was tuning in for the Jericho situation, MJF, what's the contract stuff, right? Andrade, what's the situation there, right? These are the things we want, right? We don't want, here's Julia Hart, right? Now we're going to sit down, talk to her for a bit, right? Here's Swerve after he's beaten Dustin Rhodes, right? You have to sit through all this guff, all this nothingness to get to the bit where Tony then answers the questions at the very end, and then he doesn't actually answer any of the questions at the very end. So I had it on in the background, because by this point I'd actually slept a fair bit because I'd slept during the show. As I said, I was dozing, whatever. So by the time the press conference came on, I was like, no, I'm just going to put that on in the background now, and again did a bit of work. And I was listening to it, and there was this one bit where someone asked him about Jericho and everything, and then and he didn't answer. But then the very next question was Tony, and okay, here we go. Tony is like, I need to know. And I was like, wow, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. This is a good way of starting the question. Tony, I need to know. Let's focus him here. It's good. Let's focus him. Tony, I need to know. Stop messing us around, Tony. Give us an answer. Let's go. Tony, I need to know. How does the 14-year-old boy inside of you feel, knowing that you are here booking such a wonderful show and giving us so many wonderful moments this year? That was honestly the question that followed up the Jericho question. What do you think he's going to say? I could answer that for him. The 14-year-old boy inside of him is giddy at the fact that he's booking wrestling, just like the 50-year-old person he is, or however old he is, 38, 49, 45, 72, I don't know. He's giddy as well, right? What a stupid question. What a stupid question. There is... What answer do you think he's going to say? What do you think he's going to say? How does the 14-year-old boy inside of you feel booking this wonderful show tonight? Oh, he hates it. He's gone to bed crying. That's what the 14-year-old inside him has done. He's in bed in tears. He's a mess. What a stupid question. And you know what? I wish that was the only stupid question that got asked, but wrestling journalists are just... I think what happens is they are scared of asking a question that's going to ruffle feathers and then being told you're not welcome to come back next time. And then that's it. They've lost their ability to ask a question then. And they're not allowed in the room. And so they have to just ask these just lame, awful questions that are they're just embarrassing. Just embarrassing. I just feel embarrassed for the people asking them. And honestly, you just sort of cringe your way through it. I wish these press conferences were something that they're never going to be, which is where we get journalists that want to get proper stories, which I think these people do want to get proper stories. I think they just know they're not going to get them because they know what people are going to click on, right? They're going to click on articles to do with Jericho right now, the Devil, MJF and his contract situation, Andrade and his situation. This is where the clicks are going to be. That's what people want, and that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to find this stuff out, and instead I got to hear this question. What's the 14-year-old inside of you? Well, do you know what? The 14-year-old inside of me wants to flip and get on a plane, go over and slap whoever asked that question. That's what the 14-year-old inside of me wants to do. I'm ill, and I'm still livid. The 14-year-old inside of me is livid as well. So, these press conferences can be painful experiences sometimes. Painful. But, you know, you kind of know that going into them. We've seen enough of them now. Robert said, you sound negative. You need to talk a lot of good news. We don't need negative news. That's why wrestling news is escapism. I'm not negative. I'm just being honest about where we are at the moment. In fact, I'm actually quite positive about where wrestling is going into 2024. But it's very difficult to come on and talk positively about the Jericho situation, you know? Or about the fact that the question was skirted at a press conference, you know? Or the fact that AEW World's End was not greatly received. I mean, again, that's not my take on it because I didn't watch it. I've just gone on what I think is a fairly neutral post on Twitter and then read the responses, which have been overwhelmingly, you know, 5s, 4s, 3s. And then I go to Cage Match, which is what Tony said is an indicator for him. And it's a 5.52. So, do you know what I mean? There's not really loads of places right now with the current news where you can find, like, you know, positivity. And to be honest, the news is the news. Like, whatever the news is, whatever these things that are actually happening and actual responses and actual reactions are, well, that is the news. And I think a question about how does the 14-year-olds inside of you, there's no place for that. Put that in a kids magazine. But the place for that is AEW Kids magazine, which doesn't even exist. But that's where you would find a question like that. Question that's just going to be inoffensive, doesn't mean anything, doesn't answer anything. I mean, I've already said I can answer that question for you. I can answer that question. You can answer that question. That's a question that doesn't even need to be asked. How does the 14-year-old inside of you feel booking this show? What's he going to say? Of course he's going to say he loves it. Of course he's going to... What a waste. You're wasting my time even asking that question. It's a stupid question. But it's not... It's so frustrating because if it was the only time it had ever happened, you'd be like, whatever. But do you remember the WWE press conference when that guy kept asking about how would you feel if Taylor Swift came into WWE? And he asked it a few times. And I think it was EO that was like, what? Why is he asking that? There's no rumors of Taylor coming. What? And she couldn't get her head around it. And people in the room were laughing at this guy. But the reason why he asked it is because he can then go away and write an article that's all about EO responds to Taylor Swift question. So he can write an article that's got Taylor Swift in the title. And that's what he wants. He wants to write an article. He doesn't want to do it to lighten the mood. He wants to do it so he can go away and write an article that he can write the words Taylor Swift in the title because that's going to get better views. Because everyone searches for Taylor Swift. She's one of the most searched people in the world. So, you know, there's games that get played at these things. There were more people paying for a house show in Inglewood, said Alex, for WWE 13,847 than AEW's pay-per-view 10,093. That proves how the IWC likes WWE over AEW when a house show can have more people than a pay-per-view event. Miss Clown, Happy New Year, buds. Dallas Cowboys said, Happy New Year. This week should be good. I don't usually tune into NXT, but I might this week. Well, that brings us nicely, actually, to the other thing I wanted to do, and that is do our quick predictions for day one. So, talking about that former champion thing, my thoughts on that might be like a Brock or a Batista. I don't think it's someone that's going to compete. I think it's going to be someone that's just going to make an appearance. So I was thinking of something along those lines. And actually, Triple H put a tweet out earlier today. Triple H said that he couldn't confirm nor deny the news, but he said, make sure that you are tuned in. Make sure that you are tuned in. You do not want... I can't confirm or deny, but make sure you're tuned in. You do not want to miss it. So... should be something juicy tomorrow. We've got Becky Lynch against Nia. I think Becky wins this, but I really want it to be Nia. I'm a big believer in everyone having an arch nemesis, right? Not you and me, but I'm talking about in wrestling. I think in wrestling, it's good if there's just someone you can't get past. Someone that is your toughest challenge. Someone that always either pushes you to your limit or you just can't, whatever it is, you just cannot beat them. You know, for Israel Adesanya, it was that Alec Pereira. He couldn't beat him. Couldn't find a way past him. I suppose for Hogan, you could say it was Ultimate Warrior. Warrior beat him at WrestleMania 6. And he never got to face him again in WWE. And so they ended up facing again in WCW, of course, and a lot of people think he only brought him into WCW so that he could beat him because it bothered him that much. So I kind of like the idea of, you know, Becky's run through everyone. I don't know that Becky's really encountered anyone that she's not been able to beat. I suppose you could say Bianca. Maybe Bianca may turn out to be the one that Becky just can't seem to get past. I could get behind that if it turned out to be Bianca. But I don't think Bianca needs that, to be honest. I think Bianca has actually needs a challenge of her own, right? I don't think she needs to be the person that Becky can't get past. I think Nia does need that. Nia needs something. Nia is someone who just seems to job to everyone eventually. She can beat the jobbers, and she can beat the low-level talent when we're building her up to go up against a bigger name. But pretty much every decent name she goes up against, she fails against. She loses to. And that's been happening throughout her whole career, basically. I feel like that needs to stop. I think that needs to stop. If we're going to change the perception of Nia, of her being someone significant that we should actually take seriously, then I think that we need to give her some big wins. She's got to get some big wins, either over a Bianca or an Asuka or an Io or a Charlotte or a Becky or, you know, a Bayley, or she needs big, credible wins. I don't think we're going to do it. I think it's going to be another example. I think if you used to ask most people would say, yeah, Becky wins that. Becky wins that. And I think the reason for that is because we're potentially building Becky up for WrestleMania. And also, Nia just never wins these kinds of matches. But I think she should. I really think she should. I think Becky could take a loss here and ain't going to derail her WrestleMania. I mean, technically, the road to WrestleMania doesn't even start till the Royal Rumble. So if she loses here, you've still got several weeks till we get to the Rumble. Probably less than that, 4 weeks. And then, boom, you know, all is forgotten. But if Becky ever becomes champion again, then we can call back to this and say, I broke your nose, And then do you remember when we faced on Raw and I beat you? Like, that would really help Nia. It would really help Nia. So I really want Nia to win. I just think it's going to be good in the long term, but I don't think she does. I think it'll be Becky. So then we've got Tegan and Natalya taking on Shayna and Zoe. I really don't care for either of these teams because they've just been thrown together and both are relatively new. And all of them are single stars, just chucked together. So it's very hard to care for either of these teams. I was trying to think. The tag champs are faces. Definitely faces. Come down, dancing away, partying away, right? Dance music. Get the crowd going. They are definite faces. So surely the heel team is going to win. But I don't know if Shayna and Zoe are heels. I don't think they are. I know that Tegan and Natalya aren't. They're faces. But I don't know about Shayna and Zoe. I think because I don't know, I'm going to go towards them winning. Because I think the winners here go on to face the champs. So I'm going to say Shayna and Zoe. And I think that they will lean into being heels a little bit more now as we get them towards Kaden and Katana. So that was my thinking on that. And then I think that the two champs retain. So we've got Rhea versus Ivy. I don't think anyone's expecting Ivy to win that. Rhea retains. And this is an interesting one. Seth against Drew. Do you know the odds are out for this? The odds are Seth minus 400, Drew plus 200. So it's not that wide, to be honest. I mean, I think Rhea's like minus 2,000 favorite. Seth's only minus 400. It would be wide if this was UFC. It would be seen as being fairly wide. It wouldn't be that wide in boxing. Boxing tends to have quite, wide odds. This wouldn't be that wide in boxing. I think this is relatively close odds-wise. Those are the odds that's the odds that you can get, and I don't think they're too wide. I think that implies people are looking at this thinking, are they going to pull the trigger on Drew? Is this how we're going to start the new year with a brand new champion? I am leaning towards no. I think Seth retains. And part of that reason is that I think CM Punk stands good chance of winning the Rumble. And then I think that he's going to choose Seth. Well, Seth's going to need the title if he's going to be selected. So that's why I'm thinking that Seth's going to retain. So I'm going with Punk winning the Rumble, and I'm going with Seth retaining here. And I think that should result in a collision at WrestleMania. And then Rhea retains, as we said, Shayna and Zoe and Becky over Nia. And they're the only matches that have been announced so far, those four. So not loads for us to break down, unfortunately. But yeah, looks like it's going to be a decent card. And that tease of a former champ. And then the fact that Triple H has come on and said, you don't want to miss it. Make sure you tune in. Like, it's always exciting when someone like Triple H says that, because you don't get that every week. And in all fairness, this is like a special show. This is their day one edition show. So, and then of course on NXT, we've got New Year's Evil. On SmackDown, we've got New Year's Revolution. So we've got a big week next week. On Thursday, there's a preview show on the network, and we will do a stream for that. I haven't looked to see when it starts yet, but we will go live on Thursday night to watch that preview show. It's going to be a weird stream because it's quite fun doing watch-alongs for wrestling, because when the wrestling's on, you can talk and just react to the moves. When it's like a preview show, I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of talking, so that means a lot of listening, which doesn't always make for a great watch-along. But I just sort of think like it'd be a nice way to set the year up, to be honest, to watch the preview show. I don't know what to expect from it. Will we get any interesting info? Anything we don't already know? Will there be any kind of announcement that gets made? Don't know. Maybe there will, but maybe not. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm definitely down because we're not doing Dynamite on Wednesday. Triple T is Tommy Toy Travels. Because we're not doing Dynamite on Wednesday, that means that I'm open to doing something a little bit left field, and that is doing the preview show on the Thursday. So don't know when it starts, don't know how long it's on for, but you know, it's a little bonus ball. That's how to look at it. It's a little bonus ball. Bishop said, I've got a question. What is going on with Gable Steveson? Well, Gable Steveson got booed. We were talking about this the other day. So Gable Steveson got booed when he had his debut in NXT. There's allegations against Gable Steveson. And I think that the crowd were aware of those allegations. I think if there's allegations that are going to be on social media, I think the Jericho situation has shown that people will hear them. You know, they will, they will find a way of getting to the fans. And I think the fans turned on him. I mean, there's some people out there that think that he was getting booed because they were just bored by him, right? I don't feel that. I think that the crowd were not into him when he was making his way to the ring, let alone when the match was actually going. And then, if the match got boring and the crowd turned, then that would be one thing. But the crowd were never on his side. Even when he was making his way down to the ring, he didn't get a great reaction when he came down. This is why I'm thinking they were against him from the beginning. So I think that there's real issues there that they are going to really struggle to resolve, because how do you resolve that? There was allegations made against him, never got charged. I think it was settled, actually. I think it was settled. And so that's it. It's done. I mean, it's done. But it's not concluded in a very satisfying way. And so you don't want to dig all that stuff up again because it's settled. It's done. Everyone's moving on with their lives, but it's still just sort of hanging around, so it's I don't know how you resolve it. I think that if I was WWE, I would let him go. And hopefully he could go to UFC or back to the Olympics or do something of that ilk, right? And once a bit of time has gone by, then see where the landscape is. And maybe he finds his way back to WWE eventually. But it just doesn't seem like it's a natural fit at the moment. I do wonder if they might just try him on the main roster and see how that goes. Just put him on the main roster and see what the reaction is. But the thing is that the allegations against him, they will not go away. People will retweet them. They will resurface. If people don't know about them, they soon will. That whole stuff, it'll never go away. It won't go away. So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really, really hard. So I don't know what they do with him now. I really don't know what they do with him. I'm interested to see what they do. I can only think that you part ways. Miss Clown said, I love Samoa Joe. Happy New Year video from London just now. Love Samoa Joe. Happy New Year video from London just now. What have you sent me a video from London just now? Is that what you're saying? No. Well, shout out to you, Miss Clown. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoy the fireworks in London. Damien said, what's your early prediction for the breakout tournament final between Riley Osborne and Obafemi on Tuesday? I haven't really got a call on it, to be honest. I mean, I really like Obafemi. I think that I loved his promo. He did a promo. I can't remember if it was on the show or if it was like on one of those social media exclusive things. But he basically said, I am here to cause destruction and pain, and I'm here to, you know, just bring ferocity. And he said, as I look around, I don't see anyone bringing these things, you know, and that's what's going to make me stand out. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I mean, you could say that maybe Braun Breaker is bringing some of those things, but it's true. There's a lot of people that are like high flyers and quite technical and all this. Like, he is just a beast. He's cut from the same cloth as Brock, you know, maybe not as big as Brock, but that mentality of just go in and just smash him around. I really like that. I really like that. That's quite a compelling character in wrestling, isn't it? That kind of a person. It's what wrestling is sort of built on. But Riley looks quite interesting. He reminds me a lot of a young Davey Boy Smith, in the sense of he's English. He's got a good physique. It's a physique that's not jacked up by steroids. He's got quite a bit of width on his shoulders. And even though he's not as big as Davey was heavily in like steroids. So, you know, he's got a good natural size to him, let's put it that way. And his kind of moveset it's not the same. It's not running power slams and delayed vertical suplexes and things of that kind of caliber. But it's not a million miles away. He's not doing like high flying lucha style. He's just doing the basics, really. And that's what Davey used to do, was just really the basics. He just had a few signature moves that he sprinkled in. And Riley's got a few signature moves, but they're just not the same ones as Davey. So I do look at him, and I look at his body type, and I look at, obviously, the fact he's English, and I look at his move set. And he does just remind me a little of Davey. But I don't know which way they're going to go. I really don't. I think that they're both interesting. I think they both got a bright future. I think they both bring something different to the table. You could go with Riley, because I think he'll be the one that needs more help. I think Obafemi is just a wrecking machine, and that's easy to promote. Whereas Riley's a bit more nuanced. He's not a wrecking machine. He's got a little bit more to him, shall we say. You know, already they're doing a love story, love interest with him and Thea Hale, right? So there's more character, seemingly, to the Riley character. So I think I'm going to go Riley, because I think Obafemi is a wrecking machine that will just get over naturally, easily anyway. Whereas I think Riley might just need that little bit more help. And this would be that help, or would, you know, start the ball rolling anyway. So I think I'll go Riley. Miss Khan said, no, Joe put a video from London just now on Insta. Oh, Samoa Joe. In London? Samoa Joe's in London? Really? That's interesting. Bum bum bum. Super chat says Sonny. Thank you, Sonny. I'm up to date with them. Let's get a few more thoughts. I do want to jump into those Instagram posts, actually. Alex said, what do you think of the AJ Lee tweets? Please answer. I think they're interesting. I think they could be seen as teases for the Rumble. I am someone that never goes for those kind of teases, to be honest. There's been so many times in the past where we've had stuff like that and it's just not led anywhere. What I would say is I feel like those sort of teases in recent months just feel like they've been paying off a little more than usual. So I'm interested in them, which I put them on the channel. Actually, I put them on the community tab because I was interested in them. I don't think that they say much to me at the moment. That certainly I wouldn't sit here and go, she's coming back. I would not say that in the slightest, because I think even as I put in that post, she could be doing this for fitness. She could be doing it because it's fun and she still enjoys doing it, but she just can't do it at a competitive level. She could be doing it because of a TV show. I mean, you've got shows like Heels and other TV projects. She could be working on things we don't even know about, movies and whatever, you know. Those kind of doors, I'm sure, are open to her. I just don't know what offers are on the table. So, you know, it could be that she's working towards that. Or yes, it could be that she has got that bug and seen the reactions and thought, yeah, I could do a Rumble appearance. I could do that. That would be good. That would be nice. Go back, say hello to everyone again. There's no Vince. Triple H, always loved him. Could go back, say hello to some old faces and just catch up with people. See the fans one more time. So, yeah, I mean, it's better than not seeing it, you know? But it's nothing. I mean, there's nothing there that you can go, oh, yeah, she's coming back. Definitely. Oh, it's a Rumble tease. You can't say that because there's so many other things that it could be. But I would love to see her. I think there's a chance that she comes back. I think that these social media teases have been nothing more than teases more often than not. So my advice would be approach with caution. Right? Don't get too overexcited by it. Just go, like what I did. That's interesting. Other people might be interested in this. This could be this, or, yeah, the one you're hoping for. A Rumble return. It could be, right? What do you think? And then I just put it out there, and that was me done, right? That's how I dealt with it. That's how I took it. Other than that, it doesn't say anything else to me, but other than we'll have to wait and see. But apparently there's going to be a new stage for Raw tomorrow. I've tagged you in a post about it, said Alexa Bliss Gamer. Okay. Have a look. I'm guessing there's no pictures at this stage. Let's have a look and see what is going on. Surprised no one walking about this different stage setup. Okay. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know if this is anything. I don't know. I don't know if this is what the stage is going to be. I don't know why it would have another ramp there, to be honest. Why it would have a platform there, unless they're going to do interviews or something on that. But it looks a bit narrow for interviews. Unless you're going to do it the other way round, where you kind of stand, you know, with your back to the ring kind of a thing. We'll see. It's another one of them, and it's like, okay, interesting. I appreciate you tagging me in it. I genuinely don't know what those kind of layouts normally look like, to be honest. So I couldn't, for starters, I couldn't know if that was different than a normal layout. And then you go, I don't know, does that even mean anything? Is that like just for setting up? Do they then take that away after? Is that just like a ramp for putting the trucks up so that they can set the stage up, and then when the show starts, that ramp actually gets removed or so? I don't know. We'll see. If it is there tomorrow, then we'll know to pay more attention to those in the future. Have you noticed when it's New Year's, the time after midnight moves at a snail's pace? Things are slow compared to when the days lead up to it. I don't I don't pay any attention, dude. I don't know if that's come across in the stream. It was New Year's half an hour ago here, and it has not registered. It doesn't register with me. Right, let's go down. What do you think of Undertaker, Mount Rushmore of small guys and tag teams? I've not seen it, so I can't comment. I know that he does his Mount Rushmore stuff on his podcast, but you have to be subscribed to hear his podcast. And so his videos tend to go up on YouTube, and I don't know. I don't get recommended them, or like the same way I do like Jim Cornette's or whatever. I feel like I've watched one of his videos on YouTube. I feel like the production's really bad. It's just them kind of both sat in a room chatting, but the picture quality just seems a little bit low res. The audio seems all right, but it's not. This is The Undertaker. Like, you would think you could do something incredible. Like, you would think they would do something really, really impressive. And instead, it's just weird. I don't know. I kind of looked at it. I was like, is this... We could do better than this. We could do better than this. I'm sure someone could do better than this. So, I don't know. I don't really watch, to be honest. I would... if I knew when he uploaded new videos, or if full episodes were to go up, that would be interesting. But I've only ever been recommended like a few different clips. And to be honest, even the thumbnails are not that inspiring. Sometimes even the thumbnails don't make me think it's like The Undertaker, you know? The thumbnails seem very like, I don't know, kind of like new. I mean, I know he is new to YouTube, but I don't think it's him that's doing these things. Whoever's doing his thumbnails, his production, that side of things. I mean, I'm not brilliant at it, right? At all, right? But I feel like it's someone that is about 10 years out of date. I feel like the pitch quality should be much better. The audio should be much better. The thumbnails should be much better. Any graphics on screen or whatever, that needs to be sharper. Like, it's The Undertaker. So, yeah, I don't know. And I don't think they've got full episodes on YouTube, or if they have, I've never been recommended any. And I don't know if they theme their episodes or how the content comes out. I've just seen little clips and whatever. So, yeah, it's a good shout, that is. That's something that I've seen a few times and thought they could do better with that. That could be improved. Right, should we have a look at the Instagram pictures? I said that we would chat for a little bit, and we did. I've got a new space that I can go to. It's very exciting. Are you ready? Oh no, not this space. I need to go to this space. Where's my where's my window capture? There it is. My window capture. No. There it is. There it is. So, right, on here we've got Carmella, and we've got Corey Graves along with their baby. So this is picture one. This is the 50 best Instagram pictures of the year so far. So we've got Carmella and we've got Corey Graves. It's a nice picture, but there's not really too much to say. I mean, I feel like the baby's getting in the way a little bit there, which is, you know, bit of a shame. This picture would be greatly enhanced with no baby. Then we've got this, which is Maxine and Chelsea. Just two girls having a great time on the town. So I don't know where they are. I'm guessing Miami from the clues that Chelsea has given me. But looks like a couple of college kids at a party, doesn't it? Looks like a couple of frat girls having a good time in Miami. Then we've got EO. Now that feels very Tokyo, doesn't it? Which would make a lot of sense. So EO in Tokyo with the that is a great picture, actually. I think that's the best picture of the three that we've seen so far. I'm going to say this is the best. So Io in Tokyo holding up that WWE Championship. Then we've got this from WrestleMania with Trish, Lita, and Becky. It's a good image. Little Uzi Vert on the screens in the background. I'm guessing that was a rapper that was... I think there was a rapper called that. Not someone I'm aware of, clearly. Unless these three are Lil Uzi and Vert. Perhaps that's their new names. I don't know. But they are styling. Look at Becky there. She's got her arms crossed. She's giving a bit of attitude in the face. It's not a bad image. It's not a bad image. I think we probably could have done better considering these are three of the biggest women's legends of all time. But it's just a little fun, random, quick WrestleMania 39 picture. So it's fine. Now we're talking. So here we've got Madonna, and it's great to see Madonna in the wrestling world. But I was wondering, are they tassels? I don't think they actually are. But it would be great if we could get get them spinning round, you know? But sadly, I think there's a lack of tasselage here. I think it is just the outfit on its own, but... I don't know what this is from. It reminds me of earlier this year when they were doing the whole Batman Joker thing. Do you remember the movie parodies as we were building to WrestleMania? They were really fun. They were really fun. So as we were building towards WrestleMania, we were doing these movie parody things. And I don't think this is from that, but it could be. This could be when she was doing like the Batman thing, because she was Batman and Seth was the Joker. Really good. Really, really fun. Good looking guy. Good looking guy. He is absolutely jacked, actually, Ludwig. He is absolutely ripped. A few people are wondering if he might be the one that beats Gunther. And to be honest, I wouldn't be down on it. There's been a few times where he's been close to being kicked out of Imperium. And if he did get kicked out and then he went on to defeat Gunther, I wouldn't be down on it. He is pretty jacked, but his character is also a bit monotone. Like, there's not much depth to his character, so we'd have to do a lot of work there if he was to break away from Imperium. This is... I don't even know what this is, because I don't think that's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I'm 99.9% certain it isn't. In fact, now I'm going to say 100% certain, because I've actually been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and it ain't that. So I don't know where Braun Strowman is, to be honest. I don't know where this is. There's a lot of Indian people in the background, so I'm going to say it's in India. And maybe they've got their own Leaning Tower of India or something, I don't know. But he's doing a classic, right? He's done all right. It's the old, you know, leaning on the object kind of thing, so it makes it look like he's leaning on it. The forearm, just slightly into the building, but it's all right. It's all right. Still works. It's not in enough where it's ruined the illusion, but yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'll give him a B for effort. This is Alexa Bliss, and it's a pretty fun outfit because this, I'm guessing, was for Halloween, and obviously she was pregnant, and her outfit has actually got a little skeleton on... Where's my finger go, by the way? Oh. Ooh. Looks like I'm poking her in the back. Yeah, you can see that her outfit has got a little baby skeleton in there as well, which is wild. I've never thought about Halloween costumes for pregnant women, but there must be a market for that, and Alexa Bliss this year was that market. So it's a pretty fun costume, and also you can have a good nosy around her house, which I'm pretty sure that Alexa Bliss Gamer has probably done extensively. Just really gone, poured over every inch to see if there's anything that can be detected in the background. Then we've got this. This is... I don't know what this is. I know it's Dominic. I know it's Damien. I know it's Snoop. But I don't know what's happening. It says 19 Crimes and Orlando Magic. And then Damien has got a New York top on. Dominic just looks cold. That's it. In fact, Dominic looks like he's doing an impression of Bernie Sanders. Do you remember Bernie Sanders at the inauguration? When the new president came in. And he famously was like cross-armed and everything. It looks like Dominic's doing an impression of that. And a very good impression as well. So I'm going to say this is a great picture. I'm not so certain about this one. I thought for a moment that Finn was on the toilet. And that definitely concerned me. I didn't know why we had people in the room at the same time. But then I realized it was actually makeup that was being applied. And it's a very narrow room. And the angle is very MTV, where we're kind of like all like on the squint and everything. So, yeah, I have to keep looking at it like this. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like these lights are causing havoc. I feel like, is this really one of the 50 best Instagram pictures? You're telling me that of all the WWE superstars and all of their Instagram pictures that they've put out, there was not another one better than this. This is definitely one of the top 50. I find that very difficult to believe. This is a bit blurry, but it does capture a moment. I don't know what the moment is. It feels like some sort of fairy tale that's gone wrong. I don't know. I guess I would say Hansel and Gretel. I would say this is Hansel and Gretel, the WWE version. And this is like, I don't know, clearly a hilarious yet terrifying moment. Because Becky's finding it hilarious. But Seth is finding it terrifying. Maybe this is like, I don't know. I was going to say Hall of Fame, but I don't think so. Because looking at the venue, it doesn't look Hall of Fame. It looks like a film premiere or something like that. That looks sort of like inside of cinema-esque type thing. So, I don't know. I don't know where they are. It's a shame there's not a little breakdown that tells us what the hell is actually going on here. But either way, it's a picture. I know that much. It's a picture. Does it belong in the top 50? We'll never know. This is better. This is much better. So this is Becky as NXT Women's Champion. She's got the baseball bat. She's got the t-shirt on that's got like N Bex T and Big Time Bex and the man and like lots of different things on. I think, if my mind serves me correctly, I think was Wyndham mentioned or Bray mentioned at this time. Also, we've got an arrow that says that bat is an Ingwisher. It's an Ingwisher. That's what it's called. It's known as an Ingwisher. Little arrow. I've not added that. That's something Becky must have added. So that is Becky, her belt, and her Ingwisher that she's carrying as well. So I think this is better than the last picture, and I like the pink on the box as well. Gives it a bit of color. Don't like the fact that the fire extinguisher is being blocked though. That is a health and safety hazard, and she should probably lose her job for this. If we're being honest, she should probably be fired right now, because that is a health and safety nightmare. That's nice. This might be the best one. Becky looks great here, actually. All smiles. She looks really natural, just really cool. Seth looks quite normal as well. Turns out when he's actually out and about, he's not wearing outlandish attire. But this is them at Disney World of some description. Don't know if it is the one in Florida. Probably is. I think they live in Florida. So it would make sense that they pop down there. And I'm guessing that's little baby Roebucks. So it's a lovely image. Yeah. Very natural feeling. Feels like one that you could imagine actually being in a photo frame in their apartment, house, castle, wherever they live. Lovely. Yeah, this is nice as well. This feels like it came from the Titanic. It feels like it came from the modern version of the Titanic. Good. Lighting's a bit off. But other than that, Bianca looks amazing. Montez looks amazing. The background looks really cool. It does look like some sort of cruise or something like that, doesn't it? It's got that vibe to it. It's great. Looks really good. A Guinness World Record. What's this for? Becky, Bianca. I can't read it. The largest digital video game display. The largest digital video game display. Achieved by Xfinity and the Esports Awards with Booker, Bianca, and Becky. Well, I don't think they did anything to achieve that, to be honest. I don't think they're responsible for the largest digital video game display. I could be wrong. Perhaps they work on it in their spare time. I don't know, but I'm struggling to give them credit for that award. Bianca looks great. When doesn't she look great? Becky looks like she's just come down from the International Space Station. I really appreciate that. Either that or she's stepped out the 70s. Cool, yeah. I mean, I appreciate, and I really like the guy looking at the camera over Becky's shoulder as well. If you look over her left shoulder, you can just see a guy, one eye over the shoulder, and he's looking at the camera. He just is like, this is my chance. I could be in this as well. He didn't quite make it, though. In my mind, like, he's doing his work, and they said 3, 2, 1. He's looked up. And unfortunately, the shoulders just blocked him out. Ah, unlucky. Unlucky reception, man. Next time. Then we've got Bronson Reed, who is just, I don't know what he's looking at. Looks like he's looking at like someone's poop. Looks like someone in the DMs has sent him a picture of their poop, and it's not. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. He's not impressed at all. Why he's stopped to look at someone's poop whilst being in a gym, I don't know. I can't answer that. But either way, God bless him. Oh my God. Is this even allowed to be shown? I don't even know if this is allowed to be shown. I don't know what's going on with her boobs. Is that her actual boob that's like just out there? Or what's happening? What's this? What's going on? Is this PG? Is this allowed? Am I being cancelled? Am I cancelled right now? I think I'm cancelled. I would just like to thank Carmella for confusing me. I don't want to look to confirm if it is a boob or not. I feel like it is. But it might be like where they wear them fake things. I think they're called pasties. I don't know. Every time I think of them, I get hungry. The pasties, that is, not the boobs. But the boobs as well. We're going to move on. Then we've got Carmelo and we've got Shawn Michaels. This was just before some sort of a deadline, stand and deliver type thing. You know, a takeover thing, but they don't call them takeovers anymore. It's all right. It's all right. I think they both look pretty cool. It's a pretty good image. It's not the worst background. I think we could have done better, to be honest. We probably could have just pushed the bag out the way for starters. I think the background, I think there's a bit too much going on. I don't know really what I'm meant to be looking at. I like that moon thing in the background. That's kind of cool. That like plate thing, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. Is it a light? Is it a plate? I don't know. But I like it. I know that much. But yeah, there's like a drink in the background. We didn't need that. We didn't need that bag. If it seems like I'm being quite critical, you have to be. Yeah, these are the top 50 pictures of the year. You have to be critical, right? Carmelo and Shawn looking pretty fly. Now we've got John Cena and Charlotte. Charlotte looks great. Looks great. And again, this is just backstage. Two massive. I mean, really? Is she the GOAT of women's wrestling? She's the most decorated. And he gets called the GOAT. So are we looking at the two GOATs? Is this the GOAT of the men's wrestling world? meeting up with the GOAT of the women's wrestling world backstage to like have this image. I don't know if I've seen a picture of these two actually before. It's cool. I don't mind it. Again, could the background have been better? Yeah, but I'm not going to be too critical because clearly this was backstage at a wrestling show. So you're never going to find a brilliant background. But the lighting's good. They both look amazing. Charlotte, obviously, more so, in my opinion. And I like it. It's good. That belongs. This is Del Toro. This is in the Paints Arena. I don't really know what I'm meant to take from this. Pittsburgh World Order. We'll move on. This is, do you recall seeing an ad for Center Parks on a streaming device? I'm not sure. Thanks. Well, I didn't really tell you anything, to be honest. I wasn't sure. I like being thanked, though. Right, here's Grayson Waller. He's at a Cubs game. That's pretty fun. And we've got crowds around. It's kind of interesting. I think I'd like to see a little bit more of, like, you know, the stalls or the food options or stuff like this. But, you know, it's a perfectly acceptable background. He's wearing his Cubs top. There's a lot of sky. I feel like we probably not got it quite right, but yeah, it's okay. It's all right. He loves it, doesn't he? And he loves this pose as well. He'd be really good in the Acclaimed. He would fit right in with the Acclaimed. So he's sitting on his throne. I don't think this is the Cubs anymore. Clearly he's a man that enjoys his sport. This is Washington. I'm getting a Washington vibe. I'm seeing Dubs and I'm seeing Ington on that jacket. And then I'm seeing Washington on something else. So I'm putting the pieces together. I'm thinking this is to do with Washington. But I don't know what, and I don't know what throne that is, but Grayson's got it now. Oh, he doesn't like this. I'm surprised he's not gone for the scissors again, no. But yeah, this is him with the boogeyman. Again, backstage. Pretty well lit. And yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Meeting a legend. You know, just bumped into him. Can I get a quick picture? I like the fact he's acting intimidated as well. Acting a bit scared. Like he's playing the part. So, yeah, good. I don't mind this. It's a good picture. Right, this is the newest signing to the NBA. She is 10 foot tall, so she actually towers over the baskets, which you can see in the background. Now, this is Dakota Kai. She looks great, as always. I don't get the baskets, to be honest, but no, she looks good. Is this one of the best 50 though? I mean, I don't know. It's just Dakota looking good next to some baskets, which are, you know, quite easy to get the ball in, I would imagine, because they're quite low down. Maybe that's what the picture's all about. Wow, Bayley looks great. Bayley looks really great. Bayley and Carmella. I don't know where this is. This is casual Bayley. This is civilian Bayley. This is Bayley in a hat. Bayley in a hat. That's what this should be called. She looks great. Bayley looks amazing here, and Carmella's having a great time. That's always good to see. I don't know who the people are in the background. I feel like that one behind Carmella may be a Kathy Kelly, but I can't confirm that. And I wouldn't want to say it is if it isn't, but it may be a Kathy Kelly. But okay, I can go with this. I think this is a fun picture. It's a shame they're not looking at us, but they're enjoying a moment. God bless them for that. This is more like the Bayley we know, and more like the Dakota we know, and more like the EO we know. So this is Damage Control at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Again, could we have found a better background for the world's most famous arena? We haven't even got all of Madison Square Garden logo words in the picture. I feel like that's an L. You know, if you're at Madison Square Garden and you want to have a picture to show you're at Madison Square Garden, you might as well get the words Madison Square Garden in the picture. So they've kind of cut it off. So for me, it's an L. It's not the biggest L. It's not the biggest L, but there's a little L in this picture, and something for them to think about. Well, I think we all just got something to think about, didn't we? Eh? I think we've all just reconsidered our life choices, because I don't know what's going on here, but I am all for it. How is this woman not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? How is she not one of the X-Men? I swear, wasn't there one that looked just like her? Like with white hair or what, Storm or something. Can't she be that person? She looks like she's already got the outfit. And she's got the body. Surely Hollywood will come calling for her at some point. But will the Royal Rumble come calling for her? Is that where we're going to see her? And also, what is that pizza? Because it's not pizza and it's not real. What is it? That is not a real piece of pizza. So what is it? Just a decoration. What's that about? She looks great though. Right, this is The Miz having a bit of fun in some Barbie standy thing. They're always good. There was a WWE one of those that went around Smith's toy store, and you could go in and pretend you was a WWE action figure. It's pretty good. I didn't see a Barbie one whenever I've been to the toy shops, but I can't say I looked for a Barbie one, to be honest. But obviously The Miz having a little bit of fun playing the guitar. And yeah, it's good. It's a fun picture. This is Otis standing next to some sort of Halloween decoration. Big inflatable pumpkin, carved, scary face, black and white. There's a lot going on here. An awful lot going on. I mean, I'm worried there's some sort of like ritual going on in the background. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening in the background, but it feels like there might be some sort of sacrifice taking place. I feel like that's the real story, whatever's happening in the background. But Otis is he's living his best life, man. He's living his best life. So it is Piper Niven. I don't think this is one of the best 50 of the year because there's not much to it, but this could have been taken just moments after she won, or she didn't win it, actually. She was handed it because wasn't it Sonya and Chelsea, and then Sonya got injured, and then Piper said, I'll be your new partner, like, you know, in Scottish. And so then, like, she just took the belt. So I don't know when this picture would have been taken, actually. I don't know. Perhaps she has just been to the bathroom and it went really well. And now she's come back and she's all smiles. Because that does look like the bathroom in the background. I don't know. I don't know. I can only presume that's what's happened. That is... I wondered who that was then, but it's Shayna Baszler. I wondered if that said Shayna Baszler or if it had something to do with her inside the coat. But it's not. I think it says Bangarang or something. So, I don't know. Is she modeling for them? She looks good. I like her trainers. She's looking pretty fly. But, yeah, I don't know. Is this one of the best 50 of the year? Answers on a postcard. This might be Rhea Ripley. Do you know, I never go on Instagram, right? This is why it's always interesting for me to look at these images. I never ever go on Instagram, but I didn't realize like how many of these mirror selfies Rhea actually did. I've seen so many that have been like put over onto Twitter, and I didn't realize she did so many. I don't know that I've seen this one before. But she looks great. I mean, I think if I looked like Rhea, I would also be taking lots. It's probably all I would do. Just take loads of selfies. So this is her taking a mirror selfie, but she's done quite a few over the years. And here she is with the rest of the gang. This is a great image, actually. This is all of Judgment Day United. Dominic, JD, Rhea, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor, and look really good. That's a good image. I like all of them coming together backstage. Look great. Oh, that's a nice image. So Sammy and Kevin out in front of a red London bus. And it's got London on it, and it says Money in the Bank, and I can see the O2 Arena in the background. So clearly this is Money in the Bank, which was at the O2. They were tag champs at the time. I think they defended against Pretty Deadly on like the Go Home SmackDown, if my memory serves me correctly. Just fun little picture. I mean, that's a pretty fun background as well. So yeah, I like that. Then we've got Raquel, Natalia, and Beth. This is pretty cool. Nice, kind of, if we were to remake Charlie's Angels, maybe these are the three we would choose. I don't know, but I think this is a good application. Then we've got Omos, who's showing that he is still tall. That is confirmed. Actually, the camera can't even quite capture all of him in the shot. Not even his head can fit in. He's taller than the lift. He's taller than the tree. Everything is a struggle for this guy. And I hope he has a much better 2024. Here's Kofi and Xavier Woods. So here's the New Day. He is at Ham Wildlife P. So good to see that things are going well down at Ham Wildlife P. And yeah, it's Kofi with a koala, which is kind of cute. Looks good. Nice image. These are my girls, man. These are my girls. The current women's tag team champions, Kaden and Katana. And this is them all dressed up, ready to celebrate the festive period. A very successful festive period for them because, of course, they would win the tag titles. So, yeah, they look great. And they are set up for a big 2024. Oh my God, look at this. He is kneeling down. This, if you're, whatever you're doing, stop it right now. You need to look at this image. He is kneeling down. He has got her by the hand. And he is saying to her, I've got 2 tickets to Carrot Top. That's what he's saying. You thought that they were sold out, but I have got 2 tickets for us to go and see Carrot Top. And she is like, no, don't you do this to me. And he's like, yeah. And do you know what? She don't want to go. She don't want to go. She is not interested, right? She can't stand Carrot Top. Oh, can't stand Carrot Top. This is a nightmare for her. This is horrific. This is the worst day of her life. And he loves it. He is basically the modern day Owen Hart. He loves a good rib. He loves a good rib. So, in case you didn't know the context, that's what's happening here. Then we've got Liv and I don't know, who's this boomer? Who's this boomer? Never seen this boomer before. Am I meant to know her? Is that Lacey Evans? What's going on? Liv, who's decided to come dressed as the Set, which is interesting. So Liv's come dressed as the Wheel of Fortune board. And this woman, this boomer, she is just, I don't know, having a picture took with Liv. God bless her. And she's got dressed up for it, as she should, right? Because when you meet a criminal, you should always get dressed up, right? They're worth the effort. Right, let's go. Every live pay-per-view, and there she is. It was her, confirmed. So we just saw her in the last picture. Here she is in this picture. A very up-to-date WWE Network advert. A very up-to-date advert right here. Lacey Evans just reminding you that you could watch Lacey Evans on all the upcoming pay-per-view shows if you sign up right now to WWE Network. Now we've got, I don't know, is this the people we've lost segment now? Is this where we're going to cry? Because in my mind, Brawling Brutes are no more. Butcher's gone off. He's got to find a partner for Friday. Him and a partner taking on Pretty Deadly. Ridge is off injuring people. Sheamus is, I don't know where Sheamus is. I don't know what Sheamus is doing. Sheamus things. Playing with Hornswoggle. I don't know. So, yeah, these are no more. So this is kind of an emotional picture. Wow. Someone had a good Christmas. Someone likes herself. This is a lot of Bianca things that Bianca has got. Oh, look at me. I'm brilliant. Yeah. Well, Bianca, who's your favorite superstar? She could have stuff of Montez. No. Just a load of things for Bianca that are to do with Bianca. Oh, I've gone off her now. I used to like her. I don't like her now. Too self-centered. She should be standing someone else. Imagine if all of these were pictures of Bayley. That would be brilliant. That would be so much better if this was her kneeling down and she just had everything Bayley. Bayley wallpaper, Bayley pajamas, Bayley bedspread, Bayley all these plaques, Bayley side plates, Bayley inflatable tube men. You know, that would be so much better. So much funnier. This just comes across as very self-indulgent. Asuka, let's go. She does lots of these kind of close-up images. So, is it one of the best 50 of the year? You got to have one Asuka one in there, and this is what she tends to churn out, to be honest. So, one of them was going to make it. I'm not down on this. There's a lot going on. Looks like she's been crying, maybe because Bianca didn't stan her, you know, and she's feeling a bit left out. Now we've got LA Knight. Yeah, he is training with Sheamus. So Sheamus has got his workout channel, hasn't he? So I'm guessing this is taken from one of those workout videos. I believe this was also taken from a workout video. Kathy Kelly and Sheamus. Kathy showing off the guns. It's a cute little outfit, isn't it? And the one that Kathy's got on. But, yeah. I don't watch this. I probably should. That should be my New Year's resolution, shouldn't it? I should watch this channel so that I can get buff. Jade, Drew, and Sheamus, they attended some sort of game. I don't know the game. I'm guessing football. I hope they had a lovely time. Perhaps that's where Sheamus is. They forgot him. He's just wandering around the stadium, wondering where everyone's gone. Perhaps that's what's happened. Zelina Vega looking amazing. She actually works out quite a bit. I've seen a few of her workout pictures. And, yeah, she looks great. She looks really good. So, yeah, that's if you need some inspiration for getting into shape, maybe Zelina Vega can be that inspiration for you. She's inspiring me. I know that much. She is inspiring me. What she's got on here, a lot of you won't know this. This is actually a veterinary training costume. So it's green so that you blend in with the fields. And then this device just trains your hand, gets you ready for putting your hand inside cows' vaginas so that you can help them pull out the calves, right? It's a training thing. It's why it's red and it looks all bloody and everything. It's just used, it's what vets use. So when vets put their hands inside cows' backsides, I don't know if it's the backsides, it's probably the vagina. That's where babies are born. And they grab the calves and they pull them out. That's what this is. It's a training tool. So maybe she's thinking of leaving and becoming a vet. I don't know. It would be a loss to wrestling if she did that. But fair play to her for trying something new. Here is Ivy Nile. It's a nice gym. Look at that. Gym on a 7th floor. Could be 8th, not sure. But it doesn't look like the most stacked gym in the world. There's a few dumbbells missing, and there's a distinct lack of machinery behind her. Other than that, though, no complaints. Looks brilliant. Looks brilliant. Where do I sign up? That's my question. And this, you'll be pleased to know, is our final image. This is the Viking Raiders along with Valhalla. And, you know, what a nice way to end with them remembering the Briscoes, dem boys. So we did, unfortunately, lose many great people this year. Obviously, Bray is one that always comes to mind, but dem boys will also never be forgotten. So a nice way to round off the 50 best images of 2023. And with that bombshell, I think we're done. We've ended up sticking around longer than I thought, and I hope people have a good New Year's. And I'm gonna go and get some Lemsip. I'm gonna go and take some drugs. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. I love doing the Sunday streams. We will do another next week, and we'll look at some more Instagram pictures. This week was 50, so it was a lot more than the usual 25. But yeah, I hope you have a great time wherever you are. A very happy New Year. Doesn't mean much to me. Yeah, I'm at the age now where every year that goes by actually hurts. You know, hurts. It's another year gone, right? I'm just watching them slip by a bit too quickly at the moment. So for me, I don't see what I'm meant to be celebrating. But if you're young, then I hope you have a lovely New Year's Eve, right? And we will be back later with Raw Day 1 as we get excited for the week ahead. And it is a big week ahead as we've got plenty of exciting shows on the way. So thanks for watching. Have a great evening. I will see you very soon. Bye for now.